the whispering walls. It was an old house, the kind that stood at the end of a forgotten road, its paint peeling and windows clouded with decades of grime. The locals called it Blackthorn Manor, though no one remembered why. Some said it was cursed, others claimed it was built on unhallowed ground. But to Emma, it was just her new home, a fresh start after a messy divorce. She'd bought it cheap, ignoring the warnings from the realtor and the uneasy glances from the neighbors. The first night was quiet, almost peaceful. The creaks and groans of the old house were expected, and Emma chalked them up to the wind. But as the days passed, the noises grew stranger. They weren't just random anymore. They seemed deliberate, like footsteps pacing the hallway or knuckles rapping on the walls. She told herself it was just the house settling, but deep down, she knew better. Then came the whispers. At first they were faint, barely audible over the hum of the refrigerator or the ticking of the clock. But soon they grew louder, more insistent. They came from the walls, soft and sibilant, like voices speaking just out of earshot. Emma tried to ignore them, but they followed her everywhere, upstairs, downstairs, even in the bathroom. She couldn't make out the words, but the tone was unmistakable. Angry, desperate, and hungry. One night, unable to sleep, she pressed her ear to the wall in her bedroom. The whispers surged, louder than ever, and this time she understood. "Let us out." Her blood turned to ice. She stumbled back, her heart pounding. The whispers grew frantic, echoing through the room, and the walls seemed to pulse as if something was trying to break through. Emma fled to the living room, where she spent the rest of the night huddled on the couch, clutching a flashlight and a kitchen knife. The next morning, she called a contractor. She needed answers, and if that meant tearing down the walls, so be it. The contractor, a grizzled man named Tom, arrived that afternoon. He listened to her story with a skeptical frown, but agreed to take a look. They started in the basement, where the whispers were loudest. Tom pried open a section of the wall, and the smell hit them first. Rotten, cloying, and unmistakably human. Behind the plaster and wood, they found them. Bones, dozens of them, tangled together in a grotesque nest. Some were old, yellowed with age. Others were fresh, still clinging to scraps of flesh. Emma screamed, but the sound was drowned out by the whispers, which had become a deafening roar. The walls trembled and the air grew thick with the stench of decay. Tom dropped his tools and bolted up the stairs, but Emma couldn't move. She was frozen, staring at the bones as they began to shift and rattle, as if something was trying to piece them back together. The last thing she saw before the darkness took her was a hand, skeletal and dripping with black ooze, reaching out from the wall. When Emma woke, she was in the hospital. Tom had called the police, who found her unconscious in the basement. The bones were real, they said, and the house was being investigated. But Emma knew the truth. The whispers hadn't stopped. They followed her, even now, scratching at the edges of her mind. Let us out. And sometimes, in the dead of night, she thought she heard them coming from the walls of her hospital room. By Michael Obayelu.